I got to thinking about it, and I didn't oil this spring. And so I took the cap back off and oiled the spring. And now it's time to put the cap back on. And I did put marks on it this time, but the notches are offset. Maybe that'll work. I gotta get this camera out of my way. I'm sorry. It isn't pretty, but it's on. And I think that the barrel is slightly out of round. I tried using a vise, wouldn't work. And one of the reasons why it won't work, and I'm gonna have to find, there's a cap that goes on here, and it's laying around here somewhere, but I end up having to take a couple pair of vice grips to put this cap on. Like I said, it's not pretty, but it's on. And even if I would have marked the holes, you would have to mark both the left notch and the right notch on both sides to put this cap on, because the barrel itself is out of round just slightly. There's only been one other time when I had to do that, and that was when I first started repairing clocks. The clock hasn't been serviced in a very long time. I tried prying the cap off, and that's why I disagree with the tools that you pry the cap off. If a clock hasn't been serviced in a while, and if it's got moisture to it, prying the cap off is going to distort the cap, and that's why I take the caps off the way I do. But anyway, once I find the end, it's time to put this movement back together. I got a good portion of the movement together, doing a function test. There goes striking on the hour. This lever here is going to go into one of the notches on the count wheel when it's done. And this portion of the lever, the third wheel warning pin hits it when it's done. And there's a cam right here that this portion of the lever hits goes inside when it's done striking also. Also strikes on the half hour. Now I'm going to have to count these because you can see there's a gap between this lever and the count wheel. So I'm going to have to count them as part of my functioning test to make sure that it strikes properly. This next time it should be 11 o'clock. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and it drops. 11:30, and it drops. This next one should be 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12:30. Just like on a cuckoo clock with a count wheel, 1 and 1:30 is going to be in this same notch. 1, 1:30. This next one would be 2, 1, 2. I'm happy with that. 2:30. Everything's adjusted. Now I got to put all the other parts together. And if you remember, we had to take this part, which is what hits the lift lock lever on the hour and the half hour, in order to take the movement off. So now we have to put it back on, and using my pen vise, I'm going to put it back down. And it's just an estimate of where it goes. And as long as all these other wheels line up, I think it needs to go down further. And get a bigger hammer, or get a proper hammer. Maybe we'll see how it goes as I put the other parts together. I didn't like how the minute wheel with minute pinion was flush to the plate and was barely catching the wheel itself was flat with the lever that trips on the hour and the half hour, and it was barely catching the hour pipe. So I added some washers. The bushing that they had on it was not big enough, so I added some washers, and now it catches teeth quite well. Now, as far as replacing this spring, I don't think you're going to find one exactly like it. I ordered these off of Etsy. I got a really good deal. I got 100 of them to include shipping for like $50, and they're supposed to be for German movements. But the issue is they have pins in both top block and bottom block, where most German movements don't have a pin in the top block, and that's where the taper pin comes into play. So, going through my springs, I found this one, which is about the same length. I might have to adjust the pendulum depending on the tensile strength of this spring. But anyway, that's what I'm going to use. Now, when you're adjusting the beat on this kind of clock, because it has a post on each side of the crutch assembly, it helps if you put your finger down and push on the post, the verge, as you push the crutch one way or the other. And that sounds pretty dang close. Now I have to wait for the stand to dry, and then we'll put this thing all back together. I hope y'all are enjoying this video. Again, don't forget to hit that subscribe, hit the like, hit the notification bell, leave me comments, and give me a thumbs up. It's still not quite in beat, but, you know, you could put the thing in beat all you want on your stand, and then you put it back in the case. Depending on how it sits in the case, you might have to adjust it or tilt it on the wall. Put a coat of Howard beading wax on this. I haven't wiped it off yet, but that compared to that, big difference. And I've said this before, I've used Old English oil forever. Howard beaded wax, New Life Furniture Mask, Amish milk. You know, you could use any oil is going to bring out the wood. The wood dries up, so any oil with a cleaner, preservative, whatever in it is going to help the wood. So the difference between the Old English oil, the Howard beading wax, New Life Furniture Mask, is the process of putting it on. So whatever you choose to do is up to you. Howard Beaded Wax, New Life Furniture Mask, the Amish Milk. It's a wax on, wax off type deal. So whatever you choose to do. So I got the case itself cleaned up. There's the bottom door. I added some super glue and baking soda to the insides and to the outside because the case was in a fairly poor condition, and I built in some cracks, and it's on the back of the clock. You're not going to see it. I'm not worried about it. But I was trying to figure out what this little lever right here is for, and I figured it out. It's to hold the top of the door as you're setting the hands and stuff, because the clock will be set like this. You open up the door hinges from bottom to top, and that's to hold the door open as you're setting the clock. It's a pretty cool little idea. How it works, I don't know yet. The movement been sitting here ticking away for over 12 hours now. So it's about time to put this movement back into the case. And I did use alien glue on the cardboard / paper tile here where it was sticking up. That way, in case someone needs to take this dowel off in the future, they can easily take it off. I don't know if I can wash that and clean it up because it is paper, cardboard. I might screw it up, but we'll give it a go. And to clean up the glass, you could purchase a Sprayway Foaming Action Streak Free Shine. You can buy it at Menards, Lowe's, probably Walmart. But it works really well. A good friend of mine who repairs clocks for a living told me about it. I use it on my TV, my computer. I just highly suggest that you unplug your TV and your computer before cleaning it. I mentioned this before. I know somebody whose wife got electrocuted from cleaning a computer without unplugging it, and she's disabled now. Probably best to spray it on the rag first, the way you don't get it all over the wood. looking pretty good. Now here are some French Bakers clocks that are currently for sale on eBay. There hasn't been any that sold recently, but again, mine's not a French Baker's clock. Mine's a German. Here's a really nice one for around $500. Another one, you're looking at $750. And these are for sale. They haven't sold. People can ask whatever they want. Here's one for around $200. This one for around $600. They can get quite expensive. There's one for $400, $425, something like that. And so, and here's one that they want $350 for. They can get quite expensive. Another one for $435. Now, people have asked me, what is a baker's clock? This is the definition. A well-known and highly collectible school of clocks that were popular among French merchants who wanted something special and elegant to add a touch of class to their shops. The name came from the preponderance of this type of clock that was found in French bakeries. Some people call it a bullseye clock. Seth Lingenfelter, Clocks with Seth, has a really good YouTube video out on a French baker's clock. You should check it out. Checking Etsy, they only have one French baker's clock that I see, and they want $738 for it, free shipping. So they can be quite expensive. Here's an antique French baker's clock that the lady agreed to sell it to me. I agreed to pay the $40 in shipping, and then at the last minute, she sold it to somebody else. I would have loved to have that clock. Another French baker's clock that they refused to ship, sold or selling for $30. It hasn't sold yet. It might be a scam. Here's one listed in Memphis, Tennessee, and they want $2,500 for it. What I love about this is got the raised numbers, just like my other antique French clock by Jappy Perez that I bought on the way to a friend's house. Here's another one. They want $240 for it. Most of them are designed in an oval type shape, but they have a box that the movement fits in, and then the front lifts up, and there is where the movement is. The other screw is broke off in the post, and I didn't realize that before I had the movement all back together. I tried drilling a hole to get that screw out. I broke off a couple of drill bits. I didn't want to take the movement back apart. Tightening this screw up, this thing don't move. I think it'll be suffice once I put it back into the case. you will need to put the movement in place to adjust the gong before you put the dial on, because you can't get to the gong with the dial on. I think I have it adjusted. Nice vibrant sound. Time to put the dial on. There's also no room to put the pendulum on once you have the movement in the clock. So it's best to put it on now, unless you got really small hands that will fit up in that door. My hands are German hands. They're not going to fit up in that door. Maybe a little kid could. They should have had an access panel in the back of the case. That would help a lot, but they don't. So, as you can see, it's ticking away. And here are the thumb screws that hold the movement to the dial. There's 4 of them. They're kind of nice because they're long enough that you don't have to get up close and personal. Here I got the hands back on. It's up and running. It might have to be tilted one way or the other. The hands are not lined up, and I'm not going to take this thing back apart to line them up. They don't have adjustable hands. So in order to fix this, I would have to take the movement back apart and reposition the winding, the minute shaft with winding I can't think of the name. But anyway, they're 5 minutes off. And I can live with that. It's very loud. But you should be able to see what this little stick right here is for. It's to keep the front of the door open while you adjust the time, etc. Now, the only problem is finding a place to hang this in my house. I think I'm going to hang it over there underneath that picture in my bedroom. And yeah, it's going to be loud. Might wake me up. But this room is full of clocks. And yeah, the only one that's running is that one right there, that shield clock. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more videos. And please leave me comments. And may God bless each and every one of you. As you can see, it's still ticking away. Enjoy.